Back to Easy Research Talks. Uh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank Allah for making it possible for us to be back live today on this platform at Easy Research Talks, where we have been discussing a lot about soft skills, communication skills, strategic communication, leadership communication, and all those important invisible skills that are easy to overlook. And then, however, which they are very crucial, right, for career development, personal development, and, you know, getting ahead in life. So today, our purpose here today is to discuss because every now and then I usually mention these soft skills, but I guess it's important to really find time to delve deep on the soft skills. And that's why we have entitled today's topic to be the skills that are very crucial for becoming successful at anything and everything you do. And so the real issue that we are going to be sharing with ourselves today is going to be how do you develop your soft skills, that get you ahead in life. So we are on live on Instagram as well as Facebook and YouTube. So for those on Facebook, I encourage you to share to as many people as possible, as well as YouTube. Help us share this live session so that it goes wide. And by doing so, you will be benefiting anybody that gets to see it, right? Because what we are discussing here is not just about uh, a particular profession or a particular field. Is something that relates to everyone and anyone, right? Because everyone wants to be successful at whatever they do. And every now and then, we wonder, why is it that either in business or in school or in life generally, we set ourselves against some people, and we notice that, oh, maybe sometimes we even notice those people are not as good as us. They are not as good as us, right? We might be feeling that we are better than them. I know more than them. But how is it possible that they are able to go far in life? How is it that they are able to get something done? How is it that they are able to achieve or get a reward for the effort they put in, and they leave you behind? So it might be because of some of these invisible skills that we oftentimes overlook, right? So basically, soft skills are skills that helps you keep up with competitions, okay? That helps you get ahead in life and do not let people leave you behind. I mean, there's grace, right? There's grace, and this grace, no one is deprived of grace. If you come to think of it, we all we are all someone that is blessed from our God, right? But then, if you don't put in the effort on those important skills, you might be misusing or misplacing your grace, right? So that's why I have, put together five crucial skills that can help you, you know, be successful at whatever or at everything you do. It could be business, like I said, it could be studies, it could be promotion, moving ahead in your career. It could also be, just being successful at what you do yourself as an entrepreneur, right? So that's what we are here to do. Thank you for those that are following us on Instagram. And I'm trying to stall a little bit so that We have many people join us before I start delving into the issues, into the point, because, like I said, these are important skills. These are things that we want to pay attention to, so we are able to get ahead. We are able to be successful at everything or anything that we are doing. So the very first skills that I want to talk about, according to what research is telling us, especially those that are in, you know, uh, uh, human relations, right? So there's a research on what employers are always looking after, you know, in when they are selecting during the selection process, something that, you know, of course, they will have their criteria of what makes you fit for the job or whatever they are advertising for. But one key important thing that they can't overlook is attitude. And if you come to think of it, that's exactly the reason why every company will go through interview, right? Before you can be offered any job, right? So your attitude is not a quantitative skill that you can describe through your certificate, right? These are something qualitative skills that are not tangible, and but when people relate with you, it is easy to pinpoint and realize what your attitude is like. Okay, so there are two type of attitude that are very key to this discussion. Number one is confidence, okay, and the second one is adaptability. These are two important attitudes that you want to pay attention to. If you have it, you want to keep working on it, right? And if you don't have it, you want to pay attention to it and, you know, developing yourself, developing your confidence. Talk about confidence. It is easy for people, they can do attitude, or they can do uh, uh, yeah, attitude. Actually, the can do attitude, I can do it, believing in yourself. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. The attitude of believing in yourself, believing in your dream. Whatever you can dream of, you can also achieve it. And for me, I don't believe in that kind of confidence. Rather, the important confidence is the confidence of your willingness to put in the action that gets you closer by the day to whatever you are working towards, or your willingness to learn, to learn things that you realize that you don't know. If you have a goal of becoming something, right, and then you realize that towards this, these are important skills that are important in becoming whatever you want to become. Okay, you want to become an entrepreneur, for example. Okay, so as an entrepreneur, you need to have, financial discipline, for example. So what does it mean to have financial discipline? What are the knowledge that you have to know? Or let me bring it down. You want to own a business. One of the basic skills that you have to know, that you have to have, is to be able to manage account. Okay, so the confidence of saying, "Oh, okay, I am not an accounting student, right? But are you willing to pick up an accounting textbook, or to go into YouTube and learn whatever you have to learn, even if it's just at the basic, just understand the basic logic of managing an account." Okay, so that is confidence, in my own opinion. It's not just about, okay, I dream of something and I believe I can be there one day. Because, for example, I can dream of becoming the US president, but I don't think I can ever be, because I don't even have the citizenship of US, for example, right? And some of us, we waste our time most of the time thinking, "Oh my God, I'm dreaming about," or fantasizing about things. So fantasy sometimes can be waste of time. So the confidence I'm talking about today is your confidence, is your willingness, to learn, to first of all realize what are the weaknesses, and then having the willingness to pick up the knowledge that are required, that gets you closer to what you need. Or I should say, another way to talk about confidence is your willingness to risk failure, right? Okay, so you are dreaming about this thing, and it's not something that probably people around you are not into. It's not something that your upbringing does not set you up for it. So are you willing, right? To risk the failure that get you closer to it. Because sometimes what gets what stuck us, make us stuck into a particular position is that we're afraid of, trying it out. Like I said in our previous session, that sometimes people, I talk about this cognitive bias, some wrong way of thinking that just affect our motive for going ahead in life. And one of it is spotlight effect. So this spotlight effect sometimes might mean you are scared to go ahead and to try whatever you want to try. And it's also linked to the risk of failure. You're afraid to fail. You're afraid of saying, okay, if I try this business out, I don't know much about it, I'm going to lose money. Yes, lose money, but you are going to gain experience, right? So if you have that confidence of risking failure, so if I don't get it at the first time, nothing wrong. I'm going to do it again. Okay, that's the confidence I'm talking about here. I'm saying hi to everyone on Instagram, Ramadan, Ajivik, all the way from Malaysia, Lifestyle with Fika, with that Habibi Yawali. Wuleha, thank you for joining us. So as I was saying, the very first attitude that you want to pay attention to that gets you ahead in life, that doesn't let people leave you behind, is your attitude. And the very first thing is confidence under attitude. So, and I said confidence is not just about believing in your dream, because anybody can dream, right? Anybody can dream. But what you need to pay attention to is your willingness to learn those skills, those weaknesses that you have, and your willingness to risk failure, right? Don't be shy. Don't be scared to risk something new. And number two is adaptability, right? How adaptable are you to change? Because we live in an era of constant change. And I think every now and then, all of us say this kind of expression of change is constant. So we hear this expression, we say it sometimes, but it might not mean that we actually understand the value behind that expression. Okay, truly, change is constant, but how adaptable are you to move ahead, to move along with that change, right? Because processes are going to change, schedules can change, competitors can change, right? For some of us that we are in the academics, when you have a PhD, for example, you tend to think that you know what, you are set up for life because you can always get a lecturing job. But if you look around in this era, whereby people sometimes they prefer the shortcut to knowledge, because you can always type anything to YouTube and you get your direct answers, all right? So people wonder, why should I register to go? And a lot of people are acquiring professional knowledge on Facebook, isn't it? On YouTube, on all of these platforms. There are also learning platforms out there. So that's a competition for anybody in the academics, right? And it's affecting the job market. So then for anybody that wants to be successful as an academics in this era, must be able to see, how can I join this content creation, economy, to be able to reach a global audience like what we are doing here right now, and not, be worried about whatever competitions that will definitely be imagined, that's constant, So what I'm saying in essence is that if you want to set yourself up for success, you want to have the adaptability attitude. You want to be able to embrace any type of change that comes towards you, or any change that you notice, maybe in your field, maybe in your career, without losing your enthusiasm. Sometimes we notice the change and then we complain, we drag our feet, and then we behave as if we have been struck by a volcano or whatever. But there are other people that see problem, that see this as kind of a challenge, to buckle up, and probably look around. What is that thing that I can also acquire? What is that knowledge that I can also add to this? And then I become a new person. So this is very important. Your attitude is very important to get you ahead in life. And don't forget, we talk about confidence and adaptability, as a reflection of your attitude. Employers look for it, So whenever they call you for interview, they are not calling you to see or to explain how come you have a first class degree, or you have a certain publication, or you attended a particular university. What they are looking for are those soft skills of your attitude towards, okay, if there's a change, how willing are you, how ready are you going to adapt to that change? What's your confidence in terms of learning? Are you somebody that, have this attitude of, now that I have a master's degree, then I'm done learning? Because, like I said, we live in an era of constant change, and that to be able to keep up with this change, it means we have to be a lifelong learner. You have to continue learning. So again, it's all about attitude, right? So that's the first soft skills that I want to talk about. I want to talk about today. Hamid Rahima, thank you for joining us. I'm Eminent Bunu, thank you for joining us on uh, Instagram. I'm waving to all of you. So the number two soft skills that you actually can't learn in class, okay, but you can pay attention to it by yourself, decide, okay, I want to do this. And as you grow on daily basis, right? You When you pay attention to it, you develop the skills. And so the second skill is the leadership or connection skill. And I think I cannot overemphasize this particular skill, because every time, if you are the type that join us on this platform, you will notice that every time I talk about connection, relationship, and that is to explain the importance of this particular skill, right? Those on Facebook, I encourage you to help us share the session, and let us benefit somebody. If you do, you'll be benefiting someone, right? So now, what do I mean by leadership or connection skill? Leadership skill, sometimes when we look at the word, it might mean, okay, having title and having power, but really that's not what it means, right? So the leadership I'm talking about here is your ability to have empathy, to relate with people, and probably to empower, to create influence. How good are you in building influence? How good are you in building a team? How good are you in building trust? Look at your environment. If you need to do something, maybe for your business, maybe for yourself, maybe moving ahead in life, who are those people that that can say, okay, I trust this guy, I can put my money on him, right? I'm not talking about your family members, because family members can always do it because of your family relation. But is there anybody in your field, in your area, that you think if you get closer to that person, this person will be able to help your career? So being able to connect with those kind of people, depends on your leadership skills, the ability to relate with people, especially people of influence, people that can help you. And I always tell people this, like, everybody has a connection. Every one of us has a connection. So far, you have a Facebook account, you have an Instagram account, and you have people that are following you. That is an example of connection there. So it now depends on you. What are you getting out of those connections? The people that are following you on Facebook, on Instagram, on all these social media platforms, what is that thing that they can do for you? You know, what how can they help your career? So always ask yourself, to develop your leadership skills, right? Because what some people do is to just see an opportunity of, okay, I have this person as a follower, then I can always ask him or her 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, and telling people about your problem. That can't get you anywhere, right? So you want to develop a leadership skill that the least you can get from the people that are connected to you is their trust. Who do you know that can vouch for you? Tell people, like, let's say there's an investor, somebody that wants to invest in your business. So who can we connect? Who can we reach out to and ask this person about you? And they say, okay, when it comes to delivery, when it comes to quality, I trust him, or I trust her. That's what you want to get. And how do you do that? How often do you talk about what you do on your social media platform? What do people know you for? What influence are you building? Like, if somebody wants to remember, are you, like, if we say in branding, So when we want to define like brand awareness, we will say a brand that comes to mind immediately when we are thinking or discussing about a particular brand category, right? So that means that brand has a huge brand awareness. So do you have a brand awareness, in terms of your personality? When people remember you, what comes to heart? What comes to their head immediately? What's your brand image like? So you can use social media to build this positive image around your personality. You can use it to build positive image around what you do as a business. Start talking about what you do or what you inspire to do. If there is a career or if there is a business that you would like to, get into in the future, and you probably do not have the money to get into it right now, start talking about it. you know so what you will see that will happen is that you will start creating a connection of like minds, people that are also interested in what you are doing. So don't look at people like, oh, look at my friend, he or she has this so number of followers. That's not what you want to look at. You want to look at a connection that is of benefit to you and to your career. You know, a connection that you have influence on in terms of, okay, I need to get this done. And you can bring people together, and they will believe in that, in whatever idea that you are coming up with because they know you, right? So that's a leadership skill. So wherever you get to a place, you want to always look at, either you go to a new university or you get to a new workplace or you change your environment or you get to a domain where, okay, this is a domain that I want to make name for myself. So pay attention to relating with people, you know empathizing. I don't mean sympathizing. No, there's a difference between sympathizing and empathizing, right? So you can discuss that later. But the bottom line here is the ability to relate, to connect, will get you ahead in life, right? The ability to build influence for yourself, right? The ability to build trust for yourself, right? So sometimes people say, I'm selling things online, I'm doing online business. Other than the people that know you on your street, who is going to buy what you are selling? Right? So what work are you putting into the the image that somebody will see your name and will say, oh, this lady, I trust you. Oh, this guy, I trust you. Right? So that's what you want to pay attention to. Right? And you can use your social media platform to achieve all of this. It's not a rocket science. It's not something that you have to, go back to university and earn a degree for. Like I always say, every day, talk about something you're interested in. Let your content be content that are related to, okay, this is, people can see your page and say, this is what this guy is interested in. If you follow me on Instagram, you will probably know that I'm a teacher, like, or somebody that aspires to be a teacher. If I am not a teacher yet, I aspire to be a teacher because that's what I share on my platform. So anybody that stick around, that follows me, will know what they are getting from me. And eventually one day, maybe I need like a reference, somebody that can talk on my behalf, somebody that can vouch for me. I can easily get people to do that because I am connected to people that have seen my effort. Okay, I hope I am not overbeating this particular point because it's an important point, and I always wonder how people misuse connection. You have 4,000 people connected to you on social media, and if they ask you, what are you getting from those people? Nothing other than you post picture, you pout, you know you post and all that. They like it, they comment it, and then what comes out of it? Or you asking them for 1,000, 2,000, you actually selling yourself short. Think about people to follow you on social media, and then think about what can you sell to those people. I mean, you can never stop earning money if you are selling things, right? So that's a leadership skill there. And don't forget, I said leadership and connection, they are kind of related. I don't mean leadership in the sense of a power or title or having that, huge name that people are scared and afraid of you. No, that's not what leadership is all about. Leadership is influence. Leadership is influence, right? And leadership is connection in this particular context. So that's the second skill that you want to pay attention to so that you stop worrying. Why is it that people are, leaving you behind? Why is it that this person, I used to be in the same school with him, and look at where he is right now, look at where I am? Probably this particular person is paying attention to his attitude, right? Did I say attitude? Attitude, I mean. So my Yoruba language is creeping in here right now. So attitude is very important. And I talk about attitude in terms of confidence. I said confidence is not about believing in your dream. Don't dream that one day you will become the president of the US, or you become the president of Nigeria. If you are not into politics, if you don't have the political structure, you are just fantasizing and just wasting your time. So I said confidence is your willingness, your readiness to learn in terms of your weakness. What is that thing that I need to have to become what I want to be, right? So how am I learning to get me closer to that goal or that ambition that I have? And I said number two is your confidence to risk failure. Don't be afraid to try out something new. Even if it doesn't work for you the first time, you will. If you fail, you are learning from that experience, right? So, and we talk about the second skill, and we said is leadership and connection skill. So, number three skill is the what we call emotional intelligence, right? I know that what we most often heard of, especially from the way most of our educational system is set up, a lot of attention is we pay a lot of attention to intelligence quotient, right? IQ. People talk about IQ. How smart are you? Book smart. I even mentioned this in our previous live session, right? So the argument here today is that there's something beyond your intelligence quotient, right? And that is your emotional quotient, right? Or we should say emotional intelligence. And there are about four zones to explain emotional intelligence. There is your self-awareness intelligence. How much do you know yourself? How much do you know your weakness? Are you just living life based on what people tell you? So if people tell you that you are not good, you are not smart enough, you believe it and you sit on that. What is your weakness? So one of the basic things that everybody should be able to do, I mean, frequently, not just once in a lifetime, something that you should be able to do frequently is to audit yourself. Do a SWOT analysis about yourself. What is your strength? What is your weakness? If you want to apply for a job, do a SWOT analysis. Like, what are they asking for? What do I have? What is it that I don't have? So that you will not be nurturing some unachievable dream. Right? Some people don't know how to conduct a SWOT analysis of themselves. They don't know their strength. They don't know their weakness. And if you don't know, you will just be, perambulating, pursuing something that is not realistic, right? So there's a job description there that says this is what we are looking for. Ask yourself, do I have it? Do I have what they're asking for? If you don't have it, look for another job that fits your educational background. Look for another job that fits the skills that you have, And if you so much like that skill, take time to learn. What is it that they're asking for that I don't have right now? So the emotional intelligence, meaning it's first thing there is that the ability to understand who you are, to know your own strength, to know your weakness beyond what people are telling you, right? A lot of people don't know, nobody can know you as much as you know yourself, right? That's the idea here. People can say you are dumb. People can even deceive you and say you are smart. But ask yourself internally, am I really smart? People might want something from you and then they'll be telling you something different, like, oh my God, you are the smartest person I've ever met or I've ever seen. But is that really true? Are you really smart as they are saying? Ask yourself, do an audit of your own skill set and determine what you are lacking and what you need to work on. That's the first zone of emotional intelligence. The second zone of emotional intelligence is issue awareness. How much do you know about what is going on around you? What is going on in your industry? How much do you know about all of these things? Like, if you are a university student nowadays and you don't know anything about blockchain technology, I mean, you don't have enough emotional intelligence, because everybody is shouting, this is where the future is, this is where we are going, and you just not You don't pick interest in it. That's an example of not developing yourself emotionally, right? You want to understand what are the important topics that at least I should know a thing about. Like they always tell us in communication classes, they will say to be successful, maybe journalist or a communicator or a strategic communicator, you have to know about everything, right? And I don't think it's all about communication alone. If you want to be successful in life, you have to train yourself to know a thing about everything so that you you have an idea of where solutions can come to whatever problem you face in life. Because sometimes some of these things that we don't pay attention to on time might be where our solution lies. Like you see people talking about, I don't want to use like academic related examples, but maybe you're having problem in a business that you are doing right now, and you hear people talking about new business out there. I'm not saying you should jump into it, but you want to pay attention to it, probably learn about it. Don't block your ears away. People sometimes have problem with new suggestions. Immediately they will reject it. They block their heart to it. So you don't want to be, somebody that block suggestion at the doorstep. Welcome it. Take time to reason it, to internalize it, and then decide if it's actually for you or not for you. That again goes a long way to explain how intelligent you are emotionally, right? And finally, people awareness, because you can never be successful alone. Every successful people sometimes say behind every successful man there's a woman, right? That might be true, but it's not just a woman. There's a community, there's a village behind every successful person that you meet. There is a community. There are teachers, there are workers, there are neighbors. So you can never be successful alone as a person. You need to be able to work with not just your wife, just your family members, your colleagues at work, your business partners. The ability to work with and help you get ahead, you know and uh, of attention to uh, book intelligence are, so they deserve our attention. That's why we see like, oh, this guy doesn't know too much, but he's this, he doesn't have this, but and people will be looking at you, even though you easy is it for you to work with people, because companies, they don't have time to be solving problem between you and person. So there are people that wherever they get to, they will quickly find somebody to fight with. How easy for you is it for you to overlook people's shortcoming? Find a way to forgive people and move ahead and continue whatever you are there to do. So that goes a long way to explain emotional intelligence. And in fact, research is showing us that for your career success, your intelligence quotient, all those mathematics, science, analytics, logic that we learn in school, they are only responsible for 10% of your career success. Can you believe that? Everything that we learn in book, all these, all these formulas, all these calculations, softwares, all these things that we learn in school are only responsible for 10% of our career success. The remaining 90%, you know, is based on your emotional intelligence. So the bottom line here is that people are not just looking for how good are you in doing some calculations. What's your CGPA? I mean, it's good. I'm not denigrating book smartness here. I'm not saying that it is a matter of either or. You should pick one and leave the rest. Pick the two, but don't pay attention to your intelligence quotient only. You want to pay attention to your emotional intelligence. And I said there are about 3 zones to explain your emotional intelligence. Number one is your self-awareness. Do you understand your weakness? Do you know your own strength? Right? Or are you just following what people are telling you? Number two, your issue awareness. Do you know what is going on around you? Do you know authorities? Sometimes you go to some companies, you should be able to know, okay, this is who is in charge. This is who I should work with. This is who I should be friend to. This is all about issue intelligence. Some people don't know. They don't know how to make friend with important people. Okay, they said I should make friend with people, then you are making friend with anyhow people. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about understanding, being able to prioritize, is another way to talk about it. Knowing, okay, this is more important than this. So let me think about this issue now and then come back to this later. Right? So, and the third one is people awareness, knowing about people, being able to relate with people, to connect with people, to listen to people, to work with people. All of those things are very important. So, and then that will help you to create an environment where your book smartness, or the science, or the logic, or whatever training, the quantitative skills that you have, if you have emotional intelligence, that will help you create a welcoming environment where people will love to learn from you. They will love to work with you. They will love to relate with you. Without that, whatever you know, people don't care. If you like, bring your knowledge from heaven. They will prefer to go and be making mistakes rather than working with you if they know that you are a problematic person, right? If you know that you are too problematic for them to associate with, you are somebody that always find fault in people. Everybody that relates with you, there must be something that they have done wrong for you to you. So, I mean, that doesn't help you. It doesn't help anyone, right? So, guys, that is the third soft skills that you want to pay attention to, your emotional intelligence. And I said there are three ways about it. There is self-awareness, there's issue awareness, and there's people awareness, right? uh Rosemary is from Malaysia, right? Thank you for Nursery. Thank you for joining us. People on and I hope you guys are helping us to share this interesting possible, as many as possible people. So what's number four? Soft skill. So creativity goes back to smartness and street skills, is looking at it from, I'm not a neurologist, right? But what neurologist says about brain is that our brain is divided into two. We have a right brain and we have a left brain. So, and they say that our left brain is where we save all our science knowledge, our book knowledge, logic, analysis, anything that has to do with routine, right? And in our right brain, we have our intuition, our character. It is truly interesting and triggers some great points. Thank you for that comment, Wuleha. Thank you. I appreciate. I'm glad you enjoyed the topic. So I was those things that doesn't have to do with science, art, music, painting, activity. So research the advanced economy, successful economy around the globe. Shamsuddin Ajalaruru from Facebook, always thank you for always joining. So this advanced economy, what they are paying attention to right now is people with the right brain, creativity, ability to solve problem. And what is creativity? If you come to think of it, it is your ability different from what everyone is seeing. Your ability to find solution to problem you. That's what creativity. Pay attention. The best way to develop that skill is always seeing challenge. So if you see problem that has to be solved, then you are putting yourself in a position of thinking about solution rather than whining and complaining about, oh my God, this is not possible. You energy discussing about them rather than to creativity also meant situation is not that encouraging. Inside that situation, there are people that are making up. We talk about adaptability at the beginning. So your creativity will help you to find solution. Is there a way I can, if what you are doing right now, you, is that a new process? Me stand out from the public in the way, because when we are talking about standing out, sometimes people do a lot of ridiculous things for the purpose of standing out. Hector, thank you for joining us on Instagram. Right? Creativity is all about looking at things differently. Okay, being able to pinpoint or realize something new from what other people are looking at. So people see poverty, you see opportunity for investment, right? People see, sometimes people might say Facebook is where we come to just become who we are not, because we can always hide behind the screen and behind the keyboard and do whatever we like. Yes, but are you the kind of person that see it that way, or you see it as an opportunity to market your business, or as an opportunity to connect to new people, right? That again explaining your creativity, and even when I was talking about your leadership skills, I remember this particular person that connected with me on Facebook. Somebody I never knew. I don't know him. But instead of him to ask me that I'm looking for a job or something, this person just sent me his resume. And I wonder, like, why this person sent me the resume. So I was looking at the resume and I figured out so many typographical errors, some inconsistencies in the information. So I didn't bother to reply. I took my time to correct the resume. I rearranged it. I corrected some mistakes, some bad expressions that was bad sentences. I tried to correct them, and I resent it back to the person. Apparently, in another 2 or 3 weeks or so, the person just messaged me like, I was able to get a new job after looking for job for a very, very, very long time. That's how to make use of connection. So this person might ask me money like, hey, give me 1,000. If I have, I might, or I might ignore the message. But this is an example of how to get the best out of people, your connection. Ask people for something valuable for yourself. I always tell people that are close to me that paper is paper is not money. Money is not that money paper that we have in our purse. That's not money. No, money is the process that can always give you that paper. So if you invest in that process, in the skills that get you that paper, then you have money, right? So in this example I'm giving, this person is able to get himself job rather than getting one-time value from me. You understand what I mean? So that's the idea here. The ability to look at a new way to solve problem around you, the ability to look at things in a different eyes, goes a long way to help you become who you want to become, to help you get ahead in life. And the final uh, skill that I have for you today is the communication skill. And I guess many of you might be thinking, oh, I know you are going to come here. But it's not just me. If you go on Google right now and you search for soft skill, you will see so many different definitions of soft skills, so many lists of essential skills, skills that you are supposed to have. And one thing that will be I'm very sure that will be common on all of those lists is communication. And that goes a long way to explain the importance of communication, the ability to communicate, because communication sits in the heart of connection. I talk about uh, leadership skills, right? So there's no way that you want to display your leadership skill without being able to connect. And in fact, a lot of people have been, projecting that, not just projecting, we have been realizing we live in an era where computers are taking people's job. If you do any type of job that has to do with routine, logic, analysis, visualization, even writing, computer can do all of those things better than us. I mean, there are computers, there are artificial intelligence that can write textbooks. Just give them the topic, they will provide topics for you, pick one after the other. The system will generate content. You get what I mean? Textbooks, computers are serving ice creams. Computers are doing a lot of things. Anything that has to do with routine, logic, analysis. But what computer cannot do, people are saying there are just two things that computers cannot do right now. And that's why you want to pay attention to these two skills so that you can remain relevant at whatever you do. Number one is expert thinking, right? So computers can do things that does not, like difficult problem that does not have a routine, right? All these new emerging problems, computers don't do expert thinking, right? So computers can't take any job that has to do with expert thinking. In fact, computers are taking medical jobs, like you can tell them your symptoms, they will prescribe medications for you. Computers are doing surgeries and all that. But anything that has to relate to expert thinking, computers can do that. And number two, complex communication. So what are complex communication? It has to do with explaining. Computers can't explain. Computers can say a lot of things, but it cannot really explain it. Where is the point to emphasize on? Computers might not know, right? So persuading, convincing people, sales, jobs like sales, persuading people to buy or to think in a way or to act in a particular way, computers can do it. Right? Computers don't have leadership skills. That's what I mean. And uh, strategic communication or crisis communication, computer can't survive. Computers can't do counseling. Computers can't do anything that has to do with strategic communication. The skills of the past is also, you want to, and I have been doing this platform on what the process becoming better at communicating. We've talked about approach, with listening skills. You've talked a lot about focusing on the long-term goal. But the bottom line, really, the very quick way to become better at communicating, listening to people. You want to become better at communicating. Have the the patience to listen to people, and then you are on your. So let me quickly recap for people that join us quite late. Okay, 1, 4, 6. So we have the crucial skills that help you ahead in life. Crucial skills that help you what you want to become. Crucial skills, grace that is in you. Yes, I agree. There are abusing your grace and your luck if you don't pay attention. Important skills. The very skill that we talk about today. Okay, and I said there are about two. Oh my God, I think the network for Facebook is not stable. They can still see me, but thank God, I'll probably stay with you guys on Instagram and maybe hear me live. So what we are talking about is soft skills that are important to get you ahead in life, and we talk about attitude. We said attitude is key, to get you to wherever you are going in life. So your attitude, the skills that reflect your attitude is your confidence and your adaptability. And I said confidence is not just believing in your dream or fantasizing or brainwashing yourself that I can do it. Rather, confidence is your willingness to learn, understanding your weaknesses and know what you should acquire and what knowledge should you acquire, what questions should you ask. That willingness to learn is an important attitude you want to have. And we talk about adaptability. How willing, how ready are you to adapt to new process, new schedule, new competitors? And I said new competitors continue to emerge or will continue to emerge in whatever field that you find yourself. There will be a new way of doing whatever we are doing right now. When COVID-19 came, some people were crying, while some people were laughing. So because it affected everything. But you will see how so many innovative companies in the world were able to, drag themselves back, on foot rather than crying and, just whining about the COVID-19 situation, right? So another important thing that we talk about today is the what was the second skill? We talk about leadership skill, your leadership skill. And I said leadership and connection skills are related, right? So and I said leadership skill is all about your ability to relate with people, to connect with people, to get the best out of your connection. And I said everyone has connection, everyone has people to relate with. A good example of that is your social media account. How much are you getting from your social media account? What do people, if people that are following you, if they ask them about you, what are they going to say about you? Who can vouch for you? What is the trust that you are building? What is the image that you are building? What is the influence that you are building? Okay. And what is the type of relationship that you are building? That's four key areas of, developing and getting better at leadership skills, right? So the relationship, the trust, the work, and the image, right? So the third skills that we also talk about is emotional intelligence. And I said there are about 3 zones of explaining emotional intelligence. The first one is your self-awareness intelligence. How much do you know about yourself? Knowing about yourself is understanding what you can do better than the rest. So paying attention to what you can do better. Don't waste your time on what your I'm not saying you should be disobedient to your parents, but don't just rely on what people tell you about you. Be able to reflect, look inward, and understand what is it that you can do better. And how do I want to become better at what I can do better? You understand what I mean? So that's self-awareness. And I said issue awareness, being able to understand what is going on around you, understanding what are the emerging topics, important issues that I want to pay attention to, And number 3 is the people awareness, knowing how to work with people, either at work or in an environment that you live or wherever you find yourself. Ability to know who should I connect with, who should I talk to, is an intelligence on its own. And I argue that sometimes it might be better than the book intelligence, the IQ that people talk about. So you can know whatever you know, but if you don't know how to create a teamwork where that thing will be useful, then what is the essence of knowing it, right? So that's that on emotional intelligence. Number 4, we talk about, I think, creativity. And I said creativity is being able to be innovative, using more of your right brain than your left brain. I said right brain consists of, not me, but this is what neurologists are saying, that we have, like, our brain is divided into 2 hemispheres, right? The right and the left. And they say the left brain is what we use for science, logic, analysis, and reading, and all those science-based knowledge. But when it comes to art, creativity, thinking, and all of those things, we use our right brain. So, and I'm saying that you want to pay attention to your right brain as well, because most of our educational system, they train us to develop our left brain. They train us how to write, how to add up, how to crunch numbers, and all of those things. But nobody is telling us how to use the numbers. Nobody is telling us how to make sense out of the numbers. Nobody is telling us how to interpret. You know, so all of those things we use the right brain for it. Your intuition, so pay attention to develop your right brain as well, because it helps you to get ahead in life. How do we use your right brain? You use it to be able to think of solutions to any problem you find yourself in. You use it to understand, to differentiate between uh, problem and challenge, right? So creativity helps you think that, okay, this is a challenge and this is something that I can overcome, right? So that's for people that are using their right brain. And finally, we talk about communication skill. And I said that's my favorite one, because that's a future skill that people are telling us now that computer can't take from us, even though computer is taking a lot of job. And they are saying when anything that has to do with expert thinking, complex problem that doesn't have routine solution, it's not easy for computer to take it. Okay, so you want to pay attention to expert thinking. How do I approach problem solving skills, and complex communication. And I said complex communication has to do with explaining complex ideas. Companies will forever be looking for people that can explain what they are doing. Advertising and marketing, sales, those are important skills or career to have. Whatever field that you find yourself, having the ability to sell, to convince people, to persuade people would forever be useful. That's what I'm saying here. I said explaining, persuading, and crisis communication, being able to connect people, because connecting and relating will forever be useful. Being able to connect stakeholders with their company, being able to connect or create a smooth connection or flow of connection between government and their people would forever be useful. So that's the idea here. So what can you do to become a better communicator, right? So you want to pay attention to it. You might not be able to learn that in class, but if you stick around on Easy Research Talks, you'll be able to gain a lot on topics around communication and soft skills. And I hope you guys enjoyed the session today, because I'm about to bring it to an end. But I would love to hear from you guys. We need to gym our right brain. Exactly. Enroll your right brain into a gym. Exactly. I love that. As you enroll your left brain to a university, and everything that lecturers are telling you are all, exercising your left brain. But hey, everything that you learn through, that you use your left brain for, is useless if you can't, key in into the strength of your right brain, intuition, problem solving skills, right? Creativity, innovation, right? Those are the things that we use our right brain for. So, you know what? Dr. Hector is saying that look for a gym where you can, exercise your right brain once in a while. It's very important. It's useful for you. Thank you, Dr. Hector, for that comment. Thank you, Suleiman Olayemi Omoshewu on Facebook, for your comment. I appreciate everyone that commented on Instagram and people that hang in with us on Facebook, even though I think the network is not very stable today. I realize I keep going off and on, but hey, if you stumble on this video either on YouTube or on Facebook, because we have a YouTube channel at Easy Research Talks, and if you go there, if you subscribe, I promise you will find so many exciting topics, so many exciting videos to learn from. So, and it's also a good thing to tag along and just to keep in touch. We are talking about connection here. So let's keep in touch. Let's keep connected. Let's keep building positive relationship that will be helpful for our career development. And that's going to be it from me today. Thank you all. See you next week with another very interesting and exciting topic. Salaam alaikum, everyone. Goodbye.